And we are live. It's been a while, but I'm back. Just want to talk quickly about this Concacaf Nations League semifinal, the first of two, where the USA defeated Honduras 1-0. Took them late in the game, courtesy of a goal by one of their new man, Siebatcheu. Don't even know how to say his name properly, but he's a player by the name of Thionsen Siebatcheu, who plays for Young Boys. Young Frenchman, recently called up first international goal for the young man. Recently, first involvement, came in March, the March international break. So it's not a player that a lot of people are actually familiar with, but to be honest, I said from the start, I actually questioned why Greg Berhalter didn't involve him from the beginning, but it worked out in the end because Josh Sargent, even though he wasn't as potent up top, he did help out in defense and clear that ball off the line. So in the end, it actually worked out for the U.S. national team. So the first competitive game for the USA for like about 550 days. I can't remember the exact days, but it's been a while since the USA last played a competitive game. So it's been like a lot of squads being put together. Sometimes guys like Pulisic not involved. So this is the first time like a real USA A team has been put together, and they don't look too bad. They don't look too bad, and it's the second youngest team ever fielded by the USA national team. So the future looks bright, definitely. And for this team to upend a very experienced Honduran team, it looks bright for the USA. So how's everybody doing right about now? Big up to Coach's Desk, who says this scraped through. Well, what I'm getting at is, they didn't look too pretty throughout the game. They did a lot of things right, and you could see some weaknesses in the USA and their play, their style of play, and everything. But it's promising. It is promising, and the more time these guys spend together, the better they will actually play as a unit. I I was very impressed with what I saw with Honduras. I think they stuck to their game plan and it almost worked. They sat back, they were compact, they held their shape well, and they threatened on the counter attacks, and they also threatened in the set piece situation. And I must say, guys like Elise and Lozano, they were very, very good. And I think if this game went into, let's say, it finished 0-0 and for 90 minutes and it went into extra time, who knows? Who knows what we could have seen from Honduras. But in the end, the USA, they came out on top. They were victorious. And it came late, but they say better late than never. How's everybody doing right about now? We have, who else we got in here? We got Dupe in the house. We have Samira Ketabi. I'm just running away. My son Liam, he fell asleep, so I'm just running away to do a quick match reaction before the other game starts between Mexico and Costa Rica. So I figured, you know what, just get it done, share your thoughts, and get it out of the way. And then after the Mexico Costa Rica game, I'll try to come back and actually talk about that one as well, and we'll get to see who meets the USA in the final. There will also be a third place game, and it will be between Honduras and one of Mexico or Costa Rica. I'm predicting a Mexico USA final, as usual in CONCACAF. So we have Julian in the house. How are you doing, Julian? Kevin Bobadilla says terrible performance, but I'll take the win. I won't say it's terrible. I won't say the performance was terrible, but it wasn't as a polished performance like a lot of people was as a lot of people was expecting. But I think if you're a USA fan, you have to actually take the positives from the game. And you look at the negatives and you try to work on those negatives. So we have Lucid King in here who says, as a Honduran, I'm sad, bro. Don't be sad. I think Honduras showed a lot of promise, but this unit has to be kept together, and they have to keep working match after match in order to get some type of success and some continuity from the team. But I like what I see. I really like what I see from Honduras because Albert Ellis really, really troubled the U.S. backline. And the other forward by the name of Anthony Lozano, who plays for Cadiz in La Liga, he looked good as well. His hold-up play was very, very solid. And if this was another team with more of a defensive frailty, they would have eaten them alive. Seriously, Honduras did not look too bad at all. Let's say, for example, not to pick on any team or whatever, but if this was like a team like, let's say, Panama or Trinidad and Tobago, Honduras would have ripped them to shreds. Seriously. And it's going to be interesting to see the game between Honduras and whoever plays, playing the third place match. Well, I'm predicting it's going to be Costa Rica. So let's say they meet Costa Rica. That'll be a good clash. That'll definitely be a good clash. So we have Josh Byrne in the house, who, big up to Josh Byrne. How are you doing? Who says, man, that was close. We have Steven Quintana in the house, who says, I didn't see the game, but how did the USA look? They didn't look too bad. They did a lot of things good. And we're gonna talk about that in the next 15 minutes before the game starts. I'm just, warming up a bit. Steven also said, I like McKennie though, not gonna lie. Yeah, I think McKennie had a solid game, but I'll get through my match notes, and I'll let you guys know how I feel. So just looking at some comments right here, we have AD744, who I know is gonna cover this game. He says USA best player is not McKennie in my opinion. Bayern fan in the house, how are you doing? He says hello, Dom. So Woman is saying Mexico watch along. I wish, but I can't. I'm just running away. My son is sleeping, and then I have to pick up my wife at 11 o'clock or so from work, so I can't. And guys, I'm actually wearing a U.S. men's national team cap and an Olympia jersey, who, they're a team from Honduras, the best team from Honduras. So just representing for both national teams. I want to keep it as unbiased as possible, even though I live in the United States of America. Not born, but I am a U.S. citizen. So just to talk a bit about the game, the Concacaf Nations League final, the first, it's the inaugural one. So it's a good achievement for all four teams to actually make the first final. The teams that top their respective groups from League A, which are Mexico, the USA, Costa Rica, and Honduras. Mexico drawn against Costa Rica. Honduras drawn against the USA. Honduras coming in this game, not a very good record against the USA, but a few of their wins did came on U.S. soil. So if they were to take any kind of inspiration, from if they were to have any inspiration coming into the game, they would have to had taken it from those previous wins against the USA. Some of them came on away soil, on U.S. soil. So my prediction for the game, I predicted it to be a 2-1 win for the USA. It ended up being a 1-0 win. The USA left it late. But I think they always looked the better team, had most of the ball. But that doesn't always mean that you're going to win the game. You see what I'm saying? Honduras had a game plan to sit back, play off the ball, and they did it well. A few times when they broke, they looked very, very good. The USA looked a bit susceptible on the counter and also in set-piece situations. The game was in Denver, Colorado, and we had Jamaican officials. It's actually, they did a good job. I think they did a good job. The referee was very stern. I don't know his name. I think I've seen him before. And there was also a female official, a lineswoman, and I think they did a pretty good job. So shout outs to the officials as well. A lot of people always tend to criticize referees and not actually say, thank you for, we're talking about CONCACAF right now. We're not talking about these crap referees we have in the Premier League and sometimes in the Champions League. We're talking about the CONCACAF region right now, and I think the officials did a very, very, very good job. In terms of 11, I think the USA put out a very, very solid 11. I like that it was balanced in that Anthony Robinson played at left back, Sergio Dest at right back, and it's not like Dest at left and Reggie Cannon at right. You would want to play the players in their strongest positions. Mark McKenzie, who plays for Genk, and John Anthony Brooks with Wolfsburg, who had a great season, Wolfsburg back in the Champions League. they started at the back, and Zach Steffen, who had a very, very good first season with Manchester City in goal, did a very, very, very commendable job as well. Had a few nervy moments, but overall, quality performance by the Zach Steffen. It was nice to see Pulisic back, and gotta say congrats to Pulisic on winning the Champions League against my team, Manchester City. But Christian Pulisic, he wasn't involved in the game at all. He had like the second fewest touches of any outfield player throughout the game. So what the USA has to look to do in the future or in the final, I must say, is get Christian Pulisic involved a lot more, and a lot more things could happen. You get it. Second youngest 11 ever fielded by the USA, and the future looks bright. Definitely looks bright. USA will host the 2026 World Cup alongside Canada and Mexico, and these would be the bunch, the crop of players that we'll see, with a few exceptions. Maybe some of the older ones like Leggett, or who knows, maybe a Yedlin who didn't really feature in the game today. These guys may not be there, but the current crop of players will be there, and the USA looks bright going forward. I have to say that. So big up to everybody now joining the live stream, guys. This was an impromptu type live streams. Not much preparation put into this one, but from my experience, with my experience, I could do things like this. For the Honduras national team, I think that the squad looks a decent squad, made up of a lot of players from the club champions, Olympia, a few guys stationed abroad in Albert Elise, who plays for Boa Vista in Portugal, and Anthony Lozano, who plays for Cadiz, who plays 12th in La Liga. So you got to give it to them. Those guys were their best players on the day. And I also have to mention their goalkeeper. I did write down their goalkeeper, and his name is some Lopez. I can't remember. Luis Lopez, who I think was very, very good on the day. He plays locally in Honduras as well. So 10th minute, it was a very, very good chance by Gio Reyna. That was the best chance of the game for the USA, and I think Reyna, that was a really good move for him to go around two defenders there after he received the ball from Serginho Dest. But I think his finishing was lacking. You know, the quality of finishing in the final third was kind of lacking for the USA on the night, throughout the entire night. That's what they lacked. They looked good, but the final third play was not as sharp as it should be. If the USA were a bit sharper, come on, this game would have been over a long time. Long time. Berhalter would have already started bringing in substitutes left, right, and center. So, impressive by Gio Reyna, but he needed to get that on target. And that came after an earlier chance. So, Reyna looked good. I think Reyna was the best attacking player for the USA on the day. And he is very young. I think Reyna is still a teenager, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Reyna is still only 18 years old, and it's mind-blowing to just look at this guy and just watch him play. He's so damn good. Plays for Borussia Dortmund. And yeah, Borussia Dortmund won the DFB Pokal this season as well, and they will be back in the Champions League. So there's some quality there in the USA. Champions League caliber, Bundesliga caliber, and as I always say, quality tend to prevail most of the time in the end. So that was the first big chance of the game for the USA. Honduras did get a follow-up chance just after that, but it was a long-range shot easily dealt with by Zach Steffen. And there was another nervy moment where there was a mistake and the ball was played back, and Albert Elise almost got on the end of the ball, and Zach Steffen had to run out and clear it. So the USA has to weed these things out of their game. If they are to actually compete at the Gold Cup, compete in the octagonal, compete at the World Cup, if they do make the cut, they need to cut out these things out their game. They need to be a bit more sharp in the final third. Their passes need to be more precise. And these are just some of the negative things I noticed. They need to do a lot better in set-piece situations. And they have a lot to work. They have a lot they need to work on. So a lot of positives, a lot of big names, familiar names. But they as you saw, they played against a better opposition in Switzerland a few days ago, made a couple mistakes, and they were punished. Maybe Honduras weren't able to punish them, but you come up against more quality oppositions, and you're gonna get punished. You see what I'm saying? So 27th minute was a nerviest moment on the night for the USA when unnecessary free kicks. That's another thing. Unnecessary free kicks given away by the USA. Rash tackles, sloppy fouls given away, and Honduras almost made them pay. Albert Ellis with that header that was cleared off the line by Josh Sargent. If Sargent wasn't switched on, and he's an attacker, he's the last man you would think would be back there heading that ball off the line. If he wasn't switched on, 1-0. And it would have been difficult for the USA to come back in this game if that had went in. But it didn't. Thank God for Berhalter and his boys. It didn't go in, and they could have they fought on. And there was actually a scuffle. The game began to got feisty, and I like it. That's what the Concacaf Nations League is for competitiveness. It's not an international friendly, it's a competitive game. And I like that the tempers were flaring. It adds another dimension to the game, you know what I'm saying? So I like that. It didn't get too out of hand. The ref came in, dealt with it, and where it could have been a penalty for Honduras, it wasn't given. There wasn't any really replay that showed back the incident, so I don't really know if the referees made the right call or the wrong call, to be honest. Sometimes when you watch the games on TV, they tend not to show back the replays and all that. So, I'll need to go and watch a few highlights for that one. So, big up to Adnan in the house who says USA missed so many chances in the first half. Got to be more clinical in the final. Exactly what I'm saying. You echo my thoughts right there. And after that, there was a header by Josh Sargent, saved by the goalkeeper. Brilliant save. And that was a lovely crossing by Anthony Robinson. And that's the importance of playing a left back, a proper left back where he's supposed to be at left back, so that he could get those crosses in, especially if he's left-footed, get those crosses in. And Sargent was unlucky not to score in that instance, but you have to give it to the goalkeeper as well, Luis Lopez, who was actually very, very switched on and very, very sharp on the night. So after that, there was another chance by Christian Pulisic, almost put through the legs of Lopez, but as I wrote down here, the goalkeeper was on fire. He was on fire, and he kept Honduras in the game where they didn't have a lot of the ball. The USA created more of the better chances in the first half, but they just kept themselves in the game, and that was courtesy of some very, very, very commendable work by the goalkeeper. So, from my notes, what I have written down here, asterisk, USA lacked sharpness in the final third. Just the same thing Adnan is saying right about now. Lacked sharpness in the final third. Another note, defensively, the USA looks vulnerable on set-piece situations. They got to work on that. And there was notes, Anthony Lozano, Albert Ellis, best players on the night for Honduras, along with the goalkeeper. So, from what I got from the first half, both teams had good moments, and it was a very, 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 very cagey affair, and it promised something even better in the second. And the second half, it started a bit slow, but then it started to, because we know that it's getting towards the end of the game. It's crunch time. Both teams are going for it. And it took a while. It took a while for the game to really start heating up in the second. But 51st minute, that chance by Lozano, 1v1 with the goalkeeper. It was an incident where Mino Figueroa took Gio Reyna off his feet, and I think the USA players were kind of looking for a foul. It was a given. Play went on. Lozano was played in 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Everyone looking for flag. The flag never came. Lozano looking for an the out ball to pass, but nobody was there. He shot. Zach Steffen made himself big. The ball went out for a goal kick because it hit Stephen, came back off, Lozano went out. So that was not a nervy moment for the USA. And if Lozano was a bit sharper, it would have been in the back of the net. I check his stats. He only scored 3 goals in about 31 appearances for Cadiz this season. So not very, very impressive stats, but he was part of a team that did pretty okay in La Liga this season. So around the 60th to the 70th minute, you saw Honduras started to struggle with a lot of cramp, with a lot of niggles, injuries, and it could have been because of the height. Denver, Colorado, the height, the thin, the air, the height, and when you play at altitude, the air is, there's not much oxygen, so the body responds accordingly. So they were struggling. They were struggling, and the manager, Cueto, started making a whole lot of changes. Those changes could have actually helped the team, or it could have actually hurt the team, because you bringing in 5 changes in the space of 10 minutes is almost basically a new 11. Half the 11 you changing. So that could have affected the game, but that could have also injected some life, some impetus into their outfield play. And I was beginning to get a little nervous for the USA, seeing that they did not make any changes as yet. And I was saying to myself, if this comes back to haunt, if Honduras go on to win the game, this could be the moment where Berhalter messed up by not making any changes. But as soon as I said that, the changes came in. Siebatcheu came on, Cannon came on, Aronson came on, off went Reina, Robinson, and Sargent, and then Kellen Acosta came in for Yule, who didn't play too bad. Yule looks pretty solid in the midfield alongside Leggett. So around the 86th minute, it was a little cagey moment where Honduras almost got in behind, and there was a foul. Berhalter got a yellow. Tyler Adams got a yellow. And the USA, they were looking a bit nervous at that moment. They were committing some really silly fouls because Honduras were actually going for the game. And I think this may have got the USA pumped up, because they went forward. That ball by John Anthony Brooks to Weston McKennie, headed across to Siebatcheu. And that guy Siebatcheu has such killer instinct in front of goal. And I would actually like to see him involved from the start more often than Josh Sargent going forward. No, nothing against Sargent, but Siebatcheu, I think he represents more confidence, more vigor. You understand? Because if you look at Josh Sargent, he plays for Werder Bremen, right? Werder Bremen relegated in the Bundesliga. First time since 1982. Siebatcheu playing for young boys. They're successful in Switzerland and all. That's who you want at the top. So I would like to see him involved more from the start. And when he comes on and he scores a goal to win you a semifinal, to go to the final of the Nations League, how are you going to keep him out the team in the final? It's going to be very, very difficult. Definitely going to be difficult. So it was 4 minutes of extra time. Albert Ellis did go forward and troubled the USA once again, like he did throughout the game, with his pace and his strength. Very, very good upper body strength shown by Albert Ellis. He picked up a yellow card late in the game for touching the referee, trying to rough up the Jamaican referee and all. He wasn't having it, but it's just passion. He wanted to win. But if you had about 3 more Albert Ellises in the team, the USA would have lost the game. Let me just say that. Let me just put it like that. They would have lost the game. But guys, these are just my quick thoughts. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And you could go back and watch the replay of this stream. And if you're watching a replay, I do appreciate it. But the game has started between Mexico and Costa Rica. I don't have DVR on my cable, so I have to go and catch it. I got to go and catch it. I could actually go on the ESPN app and go back and watch from the beginning, but I don't want to do all of that. But look, in summary, I think the USA did a lot of things right. And they have to go back and watch this game to see what they need to improve on. Because believe you me, if this was a quality European team, like how they played against Switzerland, or let's say another quality European team, and they're at the World Cup, listen, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for the USA. Seriously. It would be a wrap. But I like what I see from Gio Reyna, definitely. Robinson and Dest played very well. Brooks looked solid at the back, but when he's isolated 1v1 with a clever striker, he could be a little Bambi on ice. See? Mark McKenzie, I think he has a lot to learn. Didn't look too bad, but he got to keep his poise a bit more. And I think maybe Kellen Acosta could be a better option than Yule in the middle. I'm not too familiar with Yule, you know. Seriously. I'm not too familiar with, but I'm more familiar with Kellen Acosta. But I think Yule might be I think Acosta might be the better option in the midfield there, because when he came on, you saw what happened. You saw what happened. The USA looked a lot more livelier. And I think that could be the way going forward. I think Greg Berhalter still has a lot to work out in terms of his selection. Seriously. So look, big up to everybody in here. Jove O'Hara, I saw you. I see you. But there's a time and place for everything. We're not here to talk about the Champions League. We're here to talk about the Concacaf Nations League. There will be a time when I'll be live and we could talk and we could chop it up about the Champions League. Congratulations to Christian Pulisic and Chelsea for winning the Champions League. And hopefully that would help him to be confident enough to go on to topple a Mexico or Costa Rica in the Nations League final. So hard luck to Honduras. They tried. I think they did pretty okay on the night. But they themselves have to go and work on their shortcomings as well. Congrats to the U.S. national team. This is a step right step going forward. This is a step in the right direction, because if they had lost this game, there would have been a lot of talks. There would have been serious ramifications, and it would not have been good for progress' sake in terms of the U.S. men's national team. And they're moving forward. They're moving on from that failure of not qualifying for the 2018 World Cup. So all the best to the USA in the final. All the best to Honduras in the third place match. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy Dominic Rich. You will be seeing a lot more live streams like this going forward during the tournaments and everything, where I'll just pop up and I'll go live for some games. I won't for others. But this is the way going forward, okay? So subscribe to the channel if you're new, like the video if you like it. And until next time, I like to say peace out. Rich Squad. Peace. If you were in here and I didn't shout you out, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, but I got to go watch the Mexico-Costa Rica game right now, all right? So peace. Thanks.